Well, it was difficult to watch, right? I think we obviously, again, like I stated last night, didn't play well enough in a lot of facets of the game, right? So it's not that much fun to watch a team you know is better than that, right? And a team that's been playing very well and competing at a super high level to play that way.
Can you just write that off in the sense of, like, when you talk about the competition level and all that, you guys have been so consistent as competitors, do you just go, look, that's a blip, or do you have to address it?
Well, no, we got to change it, man, right? You can sit around, like I say, you can sit around and say, oh, it'll be okay, it'll be okay, but I tend to take the version of we got to make it okay.
How would you? Which facet was the worst when you prioritize?
Well, I think, there was a number of things, right, and all of them impactful. But I think, just.
Did one lead to the other?
Well, I think again, Jonesy is, and this is fairly common, and I don't put a whole lot of stock in it, but it's we again have a lot of open shots for 2 games that we haven't made, and we can't let that affect other parts of our effort game, right? We need to make some better decisions on offense too, right? We need to guys that are our knockdown shooters need to take those shots when they're open. They need to knock them down, right? But again, I can't pick anything. It was rebounding, it was transition, it was screening, it was all the physical parts of the game, et cetera. Passing wasn't as good as contestant shooters wasn't as good as it needed to be. There's a lot of things.
A number of the guys in the room yesterday were pretty insistent on getting Kawhi more help offensively, so that guys are relying on him a little bit too much, specifically Kyle. Outside of the obvious, some of those shots that they normally hit starting to fall, what can some of those guys, particularly Kyle, do to take the pressure off Kawhi?
Well, again, it's like it's a couple things. Our execution needs to continue to keep kind of turning over. I think when we did get to our stuff and run our things, we got really good shots, good rhythm and motion shots. A little bit of a stretch of the game where I thought we were throwing the ball to Kawhi and letting him go to work just for a few moments there. It's kind of weird. There was one stretch where we weren't. He went a long time without touching it, and then there was a stretch where we touched it every time down, was bringing it up, and we were kind of at the point where we needed a bucket from him or not. We got that's fine at points, but both of those were on the extreme. I think it's just, again, continue to play within our normal rhythm. And the other thing is when when they put 2 on the ball, which they're going to do, then the other guy's got to step in and play. He's got to hit the open man, and we got to take the shots, and we got to hit them.
Nick, one thing guys were talking about is that, like Danny said, you have guys on the perimeter overthinking when the ball starts to swing, right? And maybe it's because Philly's got a bunch of 6'7" to 6'10" guys flying at you, but there's kind of almost an overpassing and an overthinking happening when things go wrong. Can you fix, how do you kind of fix that?
Well, again, it's I'm just smiling because usually it's not enough passing, and now it's overpassing. It's just it's always something. It's always something, right? But again, it's making the reads, and again, I don't think we want guys like Kyle, Danny, Mark turning down opportunities. Even if they think a slightly better one's on the other side, right? So again, it's just the feel of stepping in and pulling the trigger, or if you're absolutely sure the next pass is the right one, then make it.
Among the 8 or 9 guys that you're going to play on Sunday, can you change the groups that are on the court dramatically, and do you expect to?
Well, dramatically is a strong word, right? But and again,
Like, could you play Fred and Kyle again together? Because that's been relatively ineffective all 3 games.
Yeah, we can, Doug, right? But that's obviously, you look at, oh, geez, they just look bigger and the size problem, and we're going, with Kyle, Fred, Norm out there, we get a little small, right? But there's some things we can do, Doug, obviously, with the rotations. We'll take a look at that, but we can get bigger out there.
Is Kawhi
I don't think so.
Is anybody?
Is there a
Just me,
ceiling?
only
Like,
me.
is there a ceiling? Like, is there, like, would you talk to him about 44, 42? I mean, it's been done.
Yeah.
He was on pace for.
I don't, no, I don't, there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling, no.
In terms of I'm sure you know, the offensive rating with him off the court has been like almost astonishingly low, right? Like when he's on the court, you guys get whatever it is, 107 per 100. With him on the bench, it's I think 54 through 3 games. You've tried different combinations, right? You've tried at the start of the fourth quarter with Pascal and Mark and Kyle, and that should work for you. But what have you seen in terms of just the Kawhi-less team when they're out there?
Well, it's again, it's those guys, like I said, stepping up and making plays. I really think that I did go over a lot of those sections in both the last 2 games, and it's not like we can't dribble or even get open or find shot. I mean, there's stretches there where it's one really good offensive sequence after another, but not much to show for it.
You guys won 17 games this year where he didn't play at all. So, I mean, do you think maybe the fact that he's been getting so much use in this long stretch here has caused other guys to just be a little bit of the source?
It might have last night. Right, last night it felt like it might have last night a little bit.
Nick Joel Embiid was saying after the game last night that he thinks he's at his best when he's having fun and he's dancing and shimmying and doing whatever else. Is there a way to not make it as fun for him and make it tougher on him, or to take him out of his element to some degree?
Yeah, I mean, he again last night. I mean, you think about well, geez, you know, we got to do this, that, and the other to Embiid. And he hit 3 out of 4 threes that I thought we contested somewhat, but probably a little too lightly. Okay, he hit a couple face-up jumpers, right? I think we're probably gonna live with some of that. I think again, Serge was up on him, and it was not heavily contested. It was pretty heavily contested. Mark had the same on the other side. He shot a lot of free throws, and he got a few rolls to the basket. So. You know, obviously he had a big game. He made a lot of shots. We need to, you know, put a little bit more stress in his life.
Not that you guys need motivation this time of the year, but is that something that guys should be taking personally, the celebrating, the rocking of the baby or whatever it was that he was doing? Do you want guys to take that into?
I don't know. I think it's a team game, right? You get into personal battles or personal fights against one player or whatever, it takes away from what you're trying to do as a team. And again, we got to get more connected defensively, right? We got to get our defense set up. We've got to execute our defensive game plan, and we've got to hit the open man on offense and take the shots that are there.
Given that every game's been so different, 1, 2, and 3, and the way teams have played, how do you keep guys on an even keel and not in some kind of crazy emotional roller coaster?
Well, we've again, we got to kind of trust what we've been doing. You know, I think other than game 1 against Orlando, right? I think we had 4 against Orlando, 6 straight games, I think, of tremendous effort and tremendous defense. Right? Last night we didn't have that. So again, I think that the 6 in a row is what you're trying to get back to, of that kind of effort and whatever. And you know, again, we gotta. This is a team that's playing very well, right? And we've got to get into them and get them out of rhythm a little bit.
Do you still see transition offense as an exploitable area for you guys, or I mean, we've seen 2 straight series where you know the number 1 priority for the other team is to basically get back. So, is there something that you guys can do there to help in that situation? Or
Well,
those situations?
yeah, I mean, we're you know, we're getting some pace buckets, right? I'm not sure. I think we scored in the 20s or some pretty high. 20, yeah, 20. That's pretty high for a playoff game.
Your
right?
efficiency over the playoffs is down.
Transition is usually down in the playoffs in general, right? And you know, teams make a much better effort to get back. But again, I think we're getting our share, and I think we're trying to push. I think, yeah, can we push a little bit more? Yeah, think we can. We always do. It's kind of our style to make or miss, try to get out and go. Even on violations, we try to get out and go sometimes.
Nick, given how kind of fundamental the defensive identity had become for this team,
Uh-huh.
and this is, I don't know, you hadn't had a defensive game like this in a long time.
Yep.
Where does it start when you're trying to get back to it? Like, is it just the habits are already there and you need to reinforce them, or is it something else?
Well, it always starts for us in transition, right? And that starts really early. Transition's about taking care of the ball and taking rhythm shots, so that, you know, there's a rhythm to knowing when you're supposed to explode out of there and get back, right? And then once you do that, if you do that, you know, if you don't turn it over and if you take a decent rhythm shot, you know, you should be well balanced to get back. And then it turns into communication quickly. You know, who's got who's picking up the ball, who's plugging the drive, all that kind of stuff, which we've done at a super high level. And we didn't last night. Again, we didn't do it last night at all. I mean, and some of them weren't hard. I mean, there was a clip we gave up a transition 3 to Reddick, and we had all 5 of our guys back and loaded to the ball. And there was a quick miscommunication about who was going with Reddick, and they just pitched it dead to him, and he shot it. That can't happen. That can't happen.
What's it like in the course of a game when these things are happening? And like, is there much you can do to arrest it?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, you're addressing a lot of this stuff as the game goes on, right? I mean, you know, we're talking about, hey, first problem is we got to cut off this transition, and the second problem is we got to block out a little better. You know, I mean, you're addressing some of that stuff, and again during the course of the game, and even as I'm watching the film this morning, is, you know, you're sitting there watching it, and you know, at like 9:13 to go, it's like 87-81 or something like that. You're going, God, that felt really horse shit, and we're a bucket away, and we even had a crack. I think we had an open 3 in that possession to even cut it closer. Now, 2 or 3 minutes later, we'd kind of, you know, let it get away from us a little bit. But again, you're thinking as bad as it was and all that kind of stuff, and it does feel bad sometimes when they're just in a rhythm and you're not. And again, I think if you know, my thought is let's just keep chipping, and if it gets closer here with 5 minutes to go, then a lot of the pressure changes to them.
What can you guys do to help get Fred going?
Well, he's had a few good looks, right, and he's had a couple that weren't that they've gotten to, right. I think again he's going to have to take the ones that are open, and he's going to have to probably make some more plays, right. He's able to, if they're going to fly at him like that, he's probably able to drive the closeouts, and he's probably not going to do much other than draw more defenders, and he's got to make the next right read, and then we've got to do a better job of relocating, of, you know, once again creating space. I think again that's part of the problem is we've drawn the double, we've kicked it out, we thought a shot was going up, and everybody's fighting for rebound position, and then that guy's driving back in there, and there's not enough space because of our relocation, and that's what we did so well against Orlando. We'd get into the paint, they'd send everybody in there, we'd have to kick it out. They'd fly somebody out, and then they'd chase us back out because we were running out so hard, and we'd be right back in there again. So we're going to have to do a better job of that.
Nick, do you say anything to the team about the potential, like the way the narrative changes with a win on Sunday? It's 2-2, it's 2 the next 3.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, it's you don't even have to say anything. It's pretty obvious, right? I mean, you know, as bad as everything feels, one win gets this thing back in our favor. It's you know, it's as simple as that. I mean, do I say that to them? Yeah, but I don't need to. I mean, they understand it.
I mean, over a season, you wouldn't want to live on too many mid-range looks.
Yeah.
But if they're flying at your perimeter guys and you know, Embiid's camping at the rim, could Freddie or Danny just pull up and take some of those mid-range and see the ball go in a little bit?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And it's again, if he's waiting at the rim, it doesn't mean you still can't take it in there and find the next open guy too, right?
Jimmy Butler was talking about yesterday after the game how they sort of figured something out with, you know, playing through Embiid in the pick and roll. Do you feel like you got to do something a little bit differently in terms of the coverages there, specifically with Jimmy?
Yeah, possibly.